We've done a 3-week series, which was not my original intention, but it just turned out that way. So 2 weeks ago, we talked about saying yes to the universe, which is all about saying yes to possibility, saying yes to opportunity, not doing our knee-jerk, no, I need to stay safe in my little cocoon, but doing a, what if? What if I could say yes and grow? What if I could say yes and find something new that I've never found before? What if I can say yes to myself and let go of the habits that keep me stuck to things that I no longer wish to be stuck to? And then last week we talked about no, which is about boundaries, about saying, no, I know what is mine, and I'm not going to take on what is not mine. Whew, yeah. The power of no, the power of being able to let go of the things which no longer serve us, to be able to let go of relationships even that no longer serve us. So the power of no. And then this week, we're going to talk about room for maybe. And I love that Mary Oliver poem when she says, that's about only if you can see an angel in your head will you ever possibly actually see one. If you don't believe it's possible, then even if your eyes see it, you won't actually take it in. That's the idea of yes and no and maybe. So maybe I think of as making room for grace. There's a song about that. Making room for grace. That when we rush in with a yes because we're afraid to lose an opportunity or because of our innate enthusiasm or because we feel a duty to do so, because other people's energy on us is saying, I need to say yes to this. I've always said yes to this. I can't say no now. We don't leave room for what is higher that might be working in there. And likewise, if we knee-jerk to nope. I'm going to stay safe. I'm going to stay over here. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to think about it. When we rush to no, do we miss opportunity? Do we miss opportunities in life to have fun, to have adventure? Do we miss opportunities to grow? Do we miss opportunities to learn new things about ourselves and about others in our world? So room for grace is just, the maybe is about stepping back and allowing something higher to do its work. And here's the deal. I don't know is a perfectly acceptable way to view something. And maybe in this sense is, now sometimes we use maybe as, my mother when I was a little kid, I would say, can we do so-and-so? And she'd say, well, maybe, we'll see. And that meant no. But I don't want to tell you no right now because you're going to argue with me, Melinda. And she was right about that. I was going to argue with her. So not maybe as a delaying tactic, not maybe as I really do know, but I'm afraid to say what my answer actually is. Maybe as, and know that no decision is a decision, right? If you go maybe and maybe and maybe and maybe, then the deadline for the yes or the no can pass, and you can find that you made a decision without ever intending to make a decision. That will always happen. If you don't decide to do something, then you've already decided to accept the consequences of whatever comes when you don't do something, right? So, yes, maybe can be an important, but it's not just a delaying tactic. It's not, a maybe is not making room for grace if you think you already know what the answer is and you're just afraid to say it out loud. Or you're just delaying saying it out loud because you don't want to bring on other people's disapproval, perhaps. Or, they won't like me if I say this, so I'm just going to not say it. Meanwhile, nothing gets done. So not maybe as a delaying tactic or a way to procrastinate, but maybe as surrender and trust. Like, maybe. I honestly don't know. And then when we say I honestly don't know, we make a space for what I call God to come in. And you don't even have to believe necessarily in God. What I would say is there is an energy and a power in the universe, that everything is energy, right? And so when we grab hold of the energy because we need to have control over it and push it into a yes or a no that we're not ready for, then we will experience the consequences of that and we'll learn something, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's no wrong way to do this, folks. But when you approach it with a maybe, then your hands are open. Then the door stays open. Then you get to observe. And sometimes we avoid maybe. I avoid maybe. I don't like maybe. I like certainty. There's very little certainty in this world, y'all. I got to tell you, in my life lately, there's just almost none. There's a lot of maybe. There's a lot of wait and see. There's a lot of more will be revealed. But what I want is, I believe that knowing, no matter how bad the knowing is better than not knowing. Because I don't want to deal with my impatience and my fear and I don't want to deal with standing in this place where I truly don't know. So I observe this in myself. I'm not saying I do this on purpose or that I want you to emulate it, please. But I'll find myself gravitating toward even a more painful answer or consequence because, well, even if it's the worst thing that can happen, at least I know and I can start dealing with that. When I'm stuck in the maybe, when I'm stuck in the I have no idea how this is going to turn out. I have no idea what the right thing to do is, even in this moment. Then I am so uncomfortable. And let me tell you that when you are so uncomfortable, that means you've left your comfort zone and you have entered the zone of potential growth. So maybe is a way sometimes, if we're grabbing at a yes or a no so that we can remain in our comfort zone, that might not be the answer that is best for our soul's growth. Sometimes allowing a maybe that says, I don't know, and it's pushing me beyond the limits that I feel perfectly in control of. And if we can hang out there, that is a space where so much can happen. It's a beautiful liminal space. Anne Lamott, in her book Plan B, Further Thoughts on Faith, says, the opposite of faith is not doubt, but certainty. Certainty is missing the point entirely. Faith includes noticing the mess, the emptiness, and the discomfort, and letting it be there until some light returns. Letting it be there until some light returns. No, I believe this, I'm going to that. Even if it's not a good thing, I can deal with that. I can start dealing with that. Or, I don't know, but I believe in light, and if I'm not seeing it right now, I trust that it will come into my life in its own time, in God's time, as it's put in these terms. In the time that the universe is ready to let me know. More will be revealed. That's a very powerful statement that's used a lot in 12-step programs. More will be revealed. If you don't know what to do, chances are you do not yet have enough information. If you truly don't know what to do. Now, sometimes we know what to do and we don't want to do what we know to do. So maybe isn't the way of us avoiding what we actually know in our own hearts. We have to be honest with ourselves. We have to be rigorously honest with ourselves in order to make these decisions wisely, the yeses, the nos, and the maybes. And yet, this idea that there is more, and I just can't see it from where I'm standing. I can't see it yet. It's like knowing that the sun will rise even when you don't see the sun. You know, keep looking east and it will rise. And when it does, you'll be able to see things you can't see while you're standing in the dark. And the cool thing is you didn't have to do a thing. You didn't have to go climb a mountain to the east, right? You just got to stay where you are and allow what is going to be revealed to you and in you. Because I believe that's how it happens. What comes will be revealed in you. Very, very wise advice, I've been given at various times in my life, is if you don't know what to do, don't do anything yet. Because I want to rush into the do, whether it's right or wrong, just so I can be doing something so I won't be left with the discomfort of not doing anything. If you don't know what to do, don't do anything. Information may come, or insight may come, or wisdom may be revealed, or guidance, a sense of, okay, I don't know what's happening, but I seem to be being pulled in this direction, so let me walk in this direction and see what happens. Guidance. We make room for that. We make room for grace. We make room for all of that when we allow a maybe. And it requires patience. And I want to have patience right now. Patience is not my strong suit, y'all. It's right up there with brevity. Neither of those is necessarily my thing. Patience, but patience not to just grit my teeth and wait, not that kind of patience, but patience to take a moment to observe. Wait a minute, what am I not seeing in my haste and impatience? To take a moment to investigate. What questions have I not asked because I am trying to rush to an answer? Time to observe, because beware, once you've made a pronouncement, yes, no, sometimes you can be locked into that by pride and ego, if nothing else. And sometimes a yes means you're already in that direction. Now, I will stand for your right to change your mind at any time, to say no and then go, nope, that wasn't right for me. And then turn around and change your mind. And sometimes, most of the time, if it doesn't involve like death or birth, it's not a permanent decision. So you can change your mind. You can change your mind. You can't change your mind about having a baby after the baby is born. You can't change your mind when you've lost someone as much as you want to change your mind about that. It's out of our control. And yet, other decisions that we make, we can remake. I love that. And so this what will be revealed, and we can trust that something will be revealed because there is a wisdom and a love in the universe that we participate in, but in these human bodies we don't always have instant access to, or that are revealed in time. There's no time and space in spirit, but there is time and space in the human life. And so sometimes it takes time. What's going to be revealed is going to be revealed in time, and that's okay. But we can trust that it's going to happen. But here's the deal. It's revealed only in what the Buddhists call beginner's mind. Anybody in here a teacher ever? I was a teacher for a long time. I'll tell you, the one person that you cannot teach is the person who already knows. You ever tried that? Here's what you need to do. Nope, I got it. They're doing it wrong, but I got it. There's no room. And so we tend to be in our culture like, I don't want to be a beginner, I want to be an expert. But in expert mind, there's no room for new information. In beginner's mind, there is nothing but room for new information. And so beginner's mind is something that is aspired to in Buddhism, and it's something that we can learn a lot about by holding it doesn't have to be, I have a complete beginner's mind and I know nothing whatsoever. It could be this, here's what I think, but I could be wrong. Everybody say that to yourself and see how it feels. I could be wrong. Most of the time, we don't really want to feel like we could be wrong. We want to feel like, no, I'm right. Especially when we're watching the news at night, right? Is there any space for I could be wrong? Is there any space for I already made my mind up about this and I don't need any more information about it? Thank you very much. That's what we do. And when we make up our mind, sometimes we make up our mind about whole groups of people that we've never met, based upon one fact that we may know about them. Is that a way to be love in the world? Is that a way to awaken everyone to the one love that they are? Is that a way to awaken myself to the one love that I am. No, it's not. So holding this, I could be wrong. Man, if every time you say something, you just follow it with that, and I could be wrong. It just makes a little space. It makes a little space where some new insight, some new wisdom, some new possibility could exist. I could be wrong. And it is always true because I can't see clearly from where I am. I am one human being standing in one spot on the earth. And there is this vastness. And I can see, this far. I can see in this little arc. I can see this far in time. I can see this far in space. But there is this vastness of time and space where anything is possible. And where miracles happen all the time and have since the beginning of time and do in every moment of every day, if we're even slightly aware. So we can't see clearly. We don't understand what the ultimate purpose of something is. In other words, I don't know why this happened. We want to think we know why, because that makes us feel in control of things. David Kessler, who's a grief counselor that worked closely with Elizabeth Kubler-Ross for years, said, the mind will always prefer guilt to helplessness. We'd rather take on something that doesn't feel good than admit, I have no power over this. We take on guilt. It's something I've noticed in myself in my grieving process with my husband. I know logically that I took care of him better than anybody else could have, that my daughter and I took very, very good care of him. And yet I have this guilt that keeps coming up. What if I'd done this? What if I'd made this decision? What if I'd gone to that doctor? What if I hadn't listened to that doctor? What if... And I recognize that it is my mind going, if I could figure out why, then I would feel like I had some control over this situation. And it is a situation that I never had and will never have any control over. Even if I had control in the past, which I didn't, I now have no control because it is in the past. There's nothing I can do. And yet my mind wants to clamp onto something so I can feel like it's in my control. That's when the maybe can help. That's when the more can be revealed. That's when the observation of my own mind, look at me trying to grasp at any kind of straw that can make me feel better from this spot, because being in this spot right now doesn't feel good. That's my mind doing that. So I can go, oh, bless you, that's what you're doing. And I can feel the feeling and let it pass through me rather than feel the feeling and tell stories about it and ruminate on it. Yeah. So I could be wrong. There are a few, probably, maybe, for sures in life. If you have absolute for sures, know what they are. Know what they are. I would say your for sures are your values, right? You're not going to go, well, maybe I'm going to violate my values. Although I can say that values can change over time. You can know your for sures are your boundaries. This is where I begin and where everyone else ends. And so I'm not going to allow people to cross this boundary into where I begin. And I'm not going to leak over outside my boundary and get all over everybody else either. Boundaries go in both directions. So those might be the for sures that I hold. And one of the for sures that I hear people talk about a lot is their beliefs. I believe this. Well, watch out for your beliefs, because beliefs are getting us into all kinds of trouble all over the world right now. Take a look at it. Belief is something that you decided about something. And what if instead of having a strong belief, you just held a maybe? And keep it open. Maybe. Keep it open. Keep it open. And even unto agnosticism, right? Do I know that there is a God? Can I tell you that and convince you of it? Do I know what that God looks like and how that God works? Can I absolutely say that I know this? I believe it. I believe it. And part of the reason I believe it is because I observe my life when I act as if it is true, and I see that I am a happier, more skillful, more effective person in the world. Because when I believe that there is a goodness and that I am part of that goodness and that I can harness that energy flows through me and that I can use it in the world, then my life is better. And yet, I'm open to new information. Maybe not new information that there's not a God, but I'll tell you what, I'm constantly getting new information about what God is. My view of what God is changes almost momently. It expands. It never contracts. It expands. Because I'm willing to hold a maybe about my belief. If I were not willing to hold a maybe, then a belief at that point can only contract. It can only harden so that nothing else can get beyond it. Nope, I believe that Jesus Christ is my personal Savior, and you don't, so you're going to hell. That's a belief. It's a belief that's getting us into a lot of trouble right now. And when you hold that belief strongly and you don't hold room for a maybe, we see the results of what happens, right? And so we hold even our belief about our highest thing, we hold it a little bit lightly. So hold your yeses a little bit lightly. Hold your no's a little bit lightly. A mark of maturity is flexibility. It's being able to take in new information. Know that you can change your mind and go in with that attitude. This is what I know right now. And this is how I choose to behave based upon what I know right now. And I'm willing to know more. I'm willing to get more information. More will be revealed. And until then, what's wrong with maybe? Thank you.
So this is the time in our service where we give and receive of our tithes and offerings. Oh, it's meditation time. That's why you're sitting there. Okay, take a deep breath. I'm talking to myself now, but you can breathe with me if you want to. Take a deep breath. So this idea of just holding things lightly. Can you breathe a breath and think about all your yeses and all your nos and all your maybes? And hold them lightly. You know, Jesus said, let your yeas be yeas and your nays be nays. And I think what he meant, possibly, when he said that, if indeed he did say it, is don't build up cases and try to prove things. Don't judge and then have guilty verdicts. A yes by itself is enough, if it's a true yes. A no by itself is enough, if it's a true no. And a maybe is just that space that we allow for that energy of love and wisdom, that energy of peace to have its way. And if you're ever going to make a decision, making it from a not peaceful place is a sure way to continue without peace. And so, when we allow that space of maybe, we invite certain things into that space. I don't know. Whatever it is that's in your mind right now, give it a gentle, I don't know. I may think I know, but I don't know. And in that not knowing, I invite wisdom. I invite the ability to discern, simply to see clearly. Into that space of maybe, I invite peace. Because I know my lack of peace will lead me to making a decision that may or may not be for the good of myself and the world. And so I invite peace into that space, and always, always, whatever is revealed, I ask to be able to see it through the eyes of love, not the eyes of cynicism, but through the eyes of love and joy and possibility. And even when it doesn't feel like joy is a possibility, I am holding for you now that it is. It may not be revealed right away. But I'm holding for every one of us that joy is our birthright. We're allowed to have it. We're allowed to live it. We're allowed to feel and experience it. And love is the way we make our way there. Think again this thought. I don't know. I might think I know, but I could be wrong. And that's okay. Because in that is the thought, I can change my mind. Actually, my mind is the only thing that I can change, and all other change starts there. I don't know, but perhaps I can make space for something that is larger than just me. Something that does know. And allow that something that does know to do its work in and through me. And when I breathe into that space, I experience peace. And for that peace, I give grateful, grateful thanks. And so it is. Amen.